What is going on, guys? Kitsune TCG here, back with another video, and today I thought I would show off another deck that really benefits from the new ban list that goes into effect today, that being Mannadium. Now, Mannadium is a synchro-based strategy that does focus on card destruction in order to, kind of swarm the field, give you some advantage and make a lot of synchro plays. And Zings do obviously have their destruction effects. When they are destroyed, that they can special summon a monster, usually from the deck. Now, a lot of times those cards do miss timing, but in this deck, you do have a lot of cards that are able to kind of synergize pretty well with it and kind of make this a viable strategy. Now, obviously, going into level 5 like Denglong is not the easiest to do in a deck that wants to put out level 2s, 4s, and 6s. But you do have a pretty consistent way of doing it by just adding a few cards, and it doesn't take away from the consistency all that much, because these cards do also kind of end up netting you an advantage as well. So thought I'd just kind of show it off. Go ahead and shuffle up a hand here and just show off what this deck is capable of before hopping over to the deck profile. So we'll just go ahead and shuffle it up here, and we have a fairly decent hand overall, so we can actually go ahead and start by activating Calarium. That is going to grab us the Starfrost. Now we do have a Chi-Win here, which we can go ahead and normal out. We can go Obsession, so normally this is going to be our way to grab Calarium. But since we already have access to Calarium, when we do destroy the Chi-Win, we can actually just go ahead and grab a Mannadium Speller Trap. So we can grab the Reframing. Calarium can go ahead and activate here, bringing back Chi-Win as Chainlink 2. Chi-Win will go Chainlink 1, and we'll bring out a different Zing. I will just go ahead and do Bixie, doesn't matter really that much. And this does give us a non-light monster to go into with Starfrost. So we can go ahead and activate Starfrost, destroying the Bixie. And we can actually even go Bixie effect here to bring out another Zing. And we'll go into Suwani. Alright, and we'll go Starfrost, link away into Lightheart. Lightheart will activate, grabbing us the other field spell we play, being the Reichphobia. We can go ahead and activate Reichphobia, grabbing Reichheart. And we are going to get to do a little bit of a nice thing with Reichheart here, since we already do have two defense position monsters. Specialing this one out here in defense does give us a third, so that's actually going to net us the additional draw when we add the Arrival. Let's go ahead and see what we can draw here. And Clear New World, this is a pretty good card, typically in the beginning of the hand, just being able to get whatever we need on the field. If we have like a Meek, we can definitely use this to get into like a Chi-Win. But right now, not going to help us too much since we already have kind of access to everything. But, that is why you do play this card. From here, we can go ahead and go into our Zing plays. We can go ahead and bring out Denglong. Denglong will trigger, grabbing us the 9 pillars. Now we do have Heart, which we could go into. I think that's something we will do. So we'll go and go Heart, popping the Reichheart, and that's can grab us access to the Meek. And Meek we can actually just go ahead and special out. We do have a few options here. we can actually make Denglong a 4 by sending Suwani. We can go... Well, actually, no, Denglong's a tuner. What do we have in Grave? Bixie's not a tuner. Yeah, okay. Well, we can go Meek and Lightheart into Cross Sheep. So this is a level 4 at this point. We can go level 4 and level 4. Excel. Bring back the Meek. Meek plus Excel into Baron. Oh, and do not forget to trigger Denglong like I did before then, because you are going to want to have a Yang Zing out on there, or else the 9 pillars is useless. So you'd have... This is the one you want to grab off of here, because we are also playing the Zephyra counter trap, and, you know, basically using the 9 pillars on the Zephyra Nui basically gets you an additional counter trap for the next turn. So, you know, if the game goes long enough, it definitely kind of is something you can be able to use there. Now, I mean, you technically could go ahead and activate it at this point, or, you know, grab it at this point by activating Baron, which, you know, just depends on the hand we may consider doing. Actually, it honestly might not be the worst idea. So we can actually go Baron effect to, you know, pop to the Zephyr Nui, which is going to put it to the extra deck face up, which will trigger its effect, and that will grab us that Zephyr counter trap. We do have the Scareclaw Arrival, which we are definitely going to make use of. We're going to need some additional kind of field presence here, so we're going to go ahead and go Starfrost and Reichardt into the Vicious Astrolabe. You know, triggering Cross Sheep, we can bring back the Bixie, so we do have a Yang Zing on board again. Now here, since we do have the Arrival, we can just bring back the Lightheart. And that is going to give us enough of the material here to go back into the Appaloosa. And this is pretty good inboard. Probably could have played this a little bit better, but, you know, still just also kind of getting used to this deck. But, I mean, from there we have, you know, you're definitely going to have access to this counter trap here, because I don't know of many ways of getting rid of your, you know, face-up extra deck cards. So, you know, even if they go spear mode on you, you still are going to have a counter trap in Zephyra, and then you still have a Droll Lockbird in hand to, you know, kind of keep them from doing anything. But, you know, provided they don't have exactly, you know, spear mode, you're going to be sitting pretty good. Because, I mean, even if they have, like, a Lava Golem, you know, they're going to have to pick something to keep. And, you know, if they're going to, obviously not going to let you keep a Baron, since that also shuts off, like, their framing. But even then, you know, it's either leaving you with 3 monster negates or an additional, like, Omni negate. So, overall, deck is very good. You have a lot of kind of different options and plays that you can do with it, and I'm just kind of excited to see, you know, where this deck goes. Really excited to take this to some upcoming regionals and, you know, maybe nationals. Just depends on, you know, how the format plays out. But we'll go ahead and quickly pop on over to the deck. Alright, so here is the current list I've been testing. Fairly similar to, like, what you would expect from, like, a Mannadium list. You know, you're running 3 of the Starfrost, you're running 3 of the Heart, 3 of the Meek, and for now you're still running Fearless. It's, you know, still decent enough at this point to keep. Obviously, once we get past into, you know, Dune, Fearless is definitely gonna go, but for now, it's still something you kind of need to play just for names. We are running 3 Clarium. You're really kind of running 6 because, you know, you are running the Searcher for it, but, you know, you obviously want to see Clarium and probably this as well, just to be able to, you know, have another way of getting into reframing, so you have really a lot of ways to either get into reframing or into the field spell, so pretty consistent engine there. And then you do have your little Scareclaw engine, which, again, because this part's really consistent, you're pretty consistently seeing these 3 cards here as well. And you do have space, since you do have a very, consistent engine to run a lot of non-engine cards. 3 Ash, 3 Droll, 3 Imperm, 9 hand traps do protect you going second is really good. Just definitely gives this deck a lot of flexibility. And then from there, you are running a pretty significant kind of Zing package. You do have the obvious counter trap. You're playing 2 Suwani. This is definitely the one that you want to, I'd say, go more on, just because it still has the effect to bring a card out in defense, when it's destroyed. And it does allow you to go into, a few different things in the Mannadium archetype if you need to. And it does let you go into a few things like that you maybe need to overall. So I think Suwani is definitely the best one to run 2 of. You can maybe cut it down to 1, to be honest. But for now, testing 2. Zephyr Nui, this obviously needs to be in here since you are adding the Zephyr Divine Strike. You have the Bien, the Bixie, and the Chiwin. I think they're all, pretty good. Obviously, Chiwin is the, definite need to run in order to have access to your level 5s. Which is also, I think, why Suwani is a little bit of a better one, since this is just going to be a pretty consistent way you can make a 5-star, synchro on this deck. So overall, adding that with the Clear New World, I think this card is really underrated. I mean, it's just a common out of, Battles of Chaos, so I get why. I don't think I've seen a whole lot about it, but I think, in this deck in particular, it has a lot of, use. You can definitely just activate this on like a Meek, go into a Chiwin, bring out an additional Meek, so it really just kind of just opens up a lot of plays for you. Makes a deck that doesn't seem super consistent even more consistent, so yeah, I've really liked having that in the deck overall. Ignoring the side deck, that's really just kind of been testing out like a few different things to see if I like them overall. Gravity Collapse is obviously insane, so I think that's probably something that would stay. You are running 2 Astrolauds. You're not wanting to go into too much of a grind game. This deck isn't super capable of that. Obviously, Reframing is able to put some things back, but overall, you don't have the greatest grind game, so maybe 2 is a little bit unnecessary, but I still think it's worth it, just because, you a lot of times are going to at least have a Starfrost and, another of the level 4s in Grave. The one Denglong, this is obviously something that you need to run to make this entire engine worth it. It's, just a great card in of itself, being able to float into something else. It's a Searcher, it's a Send Something to Grave. It really just does everything in a single card. You are playing the, 2 6s, whether or not you need a tuner or non-tuner, plus it also nets you a draw. Borload Savage, sometimes you're able to end on this, a lot of times it's going to be really good. It's a, high attack position, or a high attack value monster that also acts as a Omni Negate, which, it just does a lot for the deck. Excel Synchro, this is obviously really just here to go into Baron since you have a lot of level 2 tuners. Chao Feng, locking your opponent out of light monsters isn't the most impactful thing. We're playing a little bit of a wider variety of attributes here, but the most consistent way, obviously, to go into Chiwin is, or Chao Feng is going to be with Denglong. So, light is typically the one that you're going to see hit, but, I mean, that's fine, I guess. It's, it is what it is. You're not going to really run into that too much, but still something kind of nice to go into since it is going to float into something else as well. Xingying, since, you're able to make 10s, and this is going to be a pretty good one since you have a lot of ways to banish, so you're going to typically have a few things there banished. And then Baron, that's obviously part of your main inboard, having access to an Omni Negate, which also can serve as a further extender by being able to pop cards, is pretty good. Lightheart, obviously this is your, Scareclaw, Field Spell Searcher. Cross Sheep, as you saw, is obviously important by, to bring something back to just go into like a free Appaloosa. Tryhard is pretty neat in here, just being 3 generic effect monsters, just kind of always usually having it live. And it's just something that I think is a pretty good, high attack value monster that can also serve as a, interruption to, just try to bait something out from your opponent. So I'm liking it so far. I don't know what I would really cut in here for, anything, or put something else in here in its place. So I like it so far. And then finally, Appaloosa. Obviously, again, another thing that's part of your end board. Just giving you access to, 3 monster negates is going to usually be pretty good in any game. So definitely liking the deck overall. But yeah, y'all let me know down below what y'all think, and I will see y'all next time. Thank you.